Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have one of the OGs when it comes to those big, full-size luxury SUVs. It's this vehicle right here. What is it? It's a 2024 Cadillac Escalade Sport, and this one has that extra premier luxury trim package to it. But before we get into this dark blue, it's not black like you see so many other Escalades, dark metallic blue Escalade Sport. Let's talk about what's going on here. I remember when I first started teaching back in the year 2001, and I would always, the first day of class, one way for me to get to know my students was I would ask them what their dream car was. I noticed that a lot of students were telling me Cadillac Escalades. And I was blown away because I remember back when I was in high school, SUVs were barely even a thing, and I definitely wouldn't say that one of them would be a dream vehicle. Fast forward to model year 2024, Cadillac is still doing the business when it comes to that full-on, full-size luxury SUV. Now, what's fascinating is they are not the official OG. That trophy goes to the Lincoln Navigator. But it's fascinating, a response to the Navigator was this Cadillac Escalade, and the first gen, it was literally a GMC Yukon that was rebadged and had a different grille on it. Once they saw the sales, then they were like, okay, we need to go all in and make a unique SUV. Now, what's interesting is a lot of the other luxury brands, especially the German Euro brands, have jumped on board with this luxury SUV craze, including large size vehicles. So what I want to do is I want to compare this Cadillac Escalade Sport to another sporty brand that's luxurious, BMW, with their full-size X7. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this particular Escalade Sport and find out, is it better? Is it the better luxury SUV, big full-size luxury SUV to buy? Comparing the two, let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, for a large SUV, I have to admit, it looks good. And I think with the darker colors, it works even more so. At the front of the business, you're gonna notice very smallish size on the headlight housing, and that's a good thing. Full LED headlights, of course. Most of it is blacked out on the interior. And then when you compare this to BMW, BMW does great headlights, but I feel like Cadillac does great exterior lighting overall. And you could clearly see it right here with our daytime running lamp, turn signal. Love the way it's all blended in together. Nice and large, super bright and crisp. You have some body color matching on the bottom portion and a little bit of this fake vent area, which I am gonna have to zonk. So I don't know why they would put this fake vent area all the way across. Not my favorite touch, but the way that they did this indentation where you have the DRL, I don't know, there's just something about it that looks very bold without being fake. Now, as we come across that massive grille, this is a sport grille specific to this trim, all blacked out, including the perimeter edges. You got that massive Cadillac badge. You could wear that around your neck when you go into work. Forward-facing camera. And then working our way down, like I said, we have this fake vent area up top and also another fake vent on the bottom. That kind of has me scratching my head. So I am gonna have to double zonk it. That's a twofer, we call that, the twofer zonk on the fake vents. But from the styling, definitely looks amazing. And of course, this whole top grille portion is fully functional. When you compare this to the BMW X7, I personally, and I know looks, you know, beauty's in the eye, or the eyes of the beholder. I think that this looks better than the X7. I'm not really a big fan of contemporary BMW styling, especially with their crazy grills. Now, as we rise up, love the way the hood has a nice bold appearance to it. You got your dips and dives and ridges, looking nice and clean, looking luxurious without being too Transformer-esque. And then as we come around the bend, what I like about this sport trim is that you're gonna get some sporty style wheels. So what you're looking at is a 22-inch wheel, Love the polished aluminum all the way around, multi-spoke design with the gunmetal metallic gray. We do have the MagneRide suspension that has been fine-tuned for this particular vehicle, give you a little bit of sport, but also give you that nice luxurious feel. And it's also an adaptive air ride suspension. So comparing that to the BMW X7 does have adaptive suspension, but there's nothing like MagneRide. If you think about it, General Motors is the company, the car company that came up with it. They did all the work. So much so that Ferrari bought the technology from them to use in their vehicles. But I love the way there's no flat black, no gloss black around the fender openings, and of course that Cadillac badge, so much history. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tire on this thing? Basically what you're looking at is 275 on the width, 50 series sidewall. You can get your Escalade rear wheel drive or like ours, all-wheel drive. Now coming down the side, you'll notice we have color match, and that's not black, I promise. It's metallic blue, mirror caps, LED turn signals, 360-degree cameras. From the side of the vehicle, this is another thing where you really see this is full size. And it's actually a little bit bigger than the X7. The crazy thing is, if you want even bigger, you could go ESV, extended vehicle setup on this thing, and it's even longer. But you'll notice from this side, we do have color match on the door handles. You got LED lighting, and these handles you don't actually pull. You push the button behind them and the door opens. You'll notice our automatic dropping running boards, and it's cool because at night, this thing looks like a UFO. It looks like the USS Enterprise with all the LED lighting, puddle lamps, pool lamps, a big, huge, utility lamp lighting up the whole ground and everything around it. And then, of course, when you close the door, those are just going to go right back up. Look at that, right on cue. Couldn't have done that any better. Now, coming towards the rear, you do have some black trim, but with the way they tint the windows, it kind of looks almost like all like one massive piece. You do have, of course, some tasteful extra Cadillac badges. Remember, that brand's been around since the early 1900s. Up top, because this is the sport trim, you have gloss black on your roof rails. You can get your crossbars, don't worry. Even though this is sporty, even though it's luxurious, you can still get your crossbars, get your cargo basket, go camping with it. Do whatever the heck you want with it. Cadillac says you can do it. Now, as you work your way towards your rear, I do like on the quarter window how they don't put trim. No trim around it. It makes it look nice and flush. And then as we swing it out wide, just like up front with the lighting, I absolutely love the lighting on the rear of these Escalades. Full LED, of course. Love the way they do all the different elements. Much nicer design to me over the BMW X7. And then, now you know I'm really a happy camper. No wiper. See what you can do? You can rest your head right here. You can't do that on all SUVs because they put the wiper here. No wiper. It's nice and hidden under this long roof spoiler. They even hide the third brake light really well. And here's a little fun fact. How long has the third brake light been around? Do you happen to know? I don't even think Steven knows. Maybe he does. I don't know. I can't worry about that right now. This has been around since 1986. DOT required since 1986 here in the United States. If you're looking for a button, the button is actually the badge, and I'm going to show you that. You do a 5-finger slap, that will open up the back. One of the zonks, I gotta just get this off my chest. Why? Why do we need this 600 badge? If you're wondering what is 600, it's the Newton meters pounds of torque, like the foot-pound of torque, but in Newton meters, rounded up. So that's where they get 600. Don't even get me started. Think about how much money they could save with as many of these Escalades as they build, that you don't have to make these extra numbers. That's just wasted money. But of course, we have the Escalade name, not like you're gonna fool anybody. Escalade name on the back, and then working our way down, I love the way they have the exhaust nice and integrated. It isn't my favorite quad tip, but the way that it's so clean and it's blacked out and they're functional, that to me is a win-win-win situation. This cover comes right off and you could actually tow with this. Yes, you can. You could do it. But why don't we go ahead, Let's pop the hood so we can compare the BMW X7 to this mighty Escalade. All right, guys, we got the massive hood open. Of course, you have hood struts to keep the hood open. Underneath the hood, nothing but naturally aspirated V8 goodness. So what do you got? You got a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 pumping out 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic. And if you weren't paying attention earlier, like I said, you could get rear-wheel drive or like ours, all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 in about 5.7 seconds. The vehicle weighs around 5,700 pounds. MPGs, not going to definitely hypermile this vehicle. 14 in the city and about 20 on the highway. Now, comparing this to the BMW X7, remember the BMW is going to have more horsepower, but it's a more complicated situation underneath the hood. You got twin turbos. They shove it in there to where you can't even get a pinky past the engine cover and where the firewall is in the engine compartment. So it's kind of nice to just have the simplicity. I like the simplicity of the naturally aspirated V8. Plenty of torque. And if you don't want the V8, believe it or not, you could actually get the Duramax turbo diesel engine on your Escalade. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up and see it go. All right, guys, we are inside this dark metallic blue. It's not black. Do not adjust your screen. It is not black. It is dark metallic blue. 2024 Cadillac Escalade Sport with those extra luxury packages on this thing. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much is this? How much is this full-size luxury SUV? I'm looking at BMW. I'm looking at Mercedes-Benz. I'm even looking at the Lincoln Navigator, the arch nemesis to the Cadillac Escalade. How much is it? The way that this one sits, MSRP $112,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Overall, I like what's going on. I love the soft touch material up top, the white contrast stitching. The one thing that makes my stomach hurt that I have to zonk is, first of all, the brown wood finish, and second of all, the veneer over it to make it shiny. Why, oh why, oh why? This has such a sporty exterior that kills it for me. But the saving grace is, as you work towards the door handle, you have heated and ventilated seats, which are wonderful. You have a little bit of that carbon flash metallic. It's actually not gloss black. It's carbon flash metallic around the window switchgear, piping, stitching, and a super soft armrest. Door pocket is very generous. You could easily get a 12-inch caviar sandwich in there with extra caviar and a bottle of kombucha to wash it down. We have the AKG 36 speaker sound system starting with the door panel, and then there's 35 other speakers in this thing. Going from the door panel to the dash, more of that great leather style material. The stitching, the wood has got to go. Why couldn't they go with a black stain with no veneer? That would really fit the overall personality of this vehicle, but I do love the way they brought more of that leather. The stitching, you do have a 12 volt down below in this area where you could put, I think, 4 pita sandwiches down there easily. Now when you come on in, you're going to be greeted to something probably just as large as this Escalade. 38 inches of OLED screen, and I love the way they separated. You see how they put the nice leather style material around the separate bezel compared to the infotainment system, but of course full touchscreen capability, easy, very quick reacting. You got a video recorder. You got your Crayola crayon 64 color box of colors for your ambient lighting in here. You could really switch it up, make a unique experience. You got your rear media, which we got 2 12.6-inch screens back there, and of course all the cameras. Super clear resolution. You could go wide, you could go overhead, the side. There's our 22-inch sporty wheels. Love the way they have all those touches. Very simple to use, and I go right back to navigation. Working our way down, real toggle switches, and they're metal for our dual climate control. Love the way it's got that LED technology with the way everything lights up. That's your start-stop button. This is going to control your 10-speed automatic, real volume knob, and then if you don't want to touch the screen, you actually have a direct drive control knob. I'm going to open this up. 2 cup holders. Here's our Cadillac key fob. Let me show you. There it is with the Cadillac badge. Flip it around, you do get remote start, which is nice. USB-C, USB-A, a place for 4 boxes of Tic Tacs. You got your 2 cup holders, like I said. Close it up, wireless charging. You just drop your phone right in there. And then look at the way they finished this off. The stitching, the piping, love the Escalade name. Open this up, another USB-C, a USB-A, and you have an illuminated cool box so you could chill your Twinkies. Nothing like on a hot day biting into a golden fresh, and when I say fresh, they're usually about 10 years old. They've been sitting on the shelves for that long. A golden fresh Twinkie with a nice chilled cream, especially if you're having your favorite caviar sandwich. That just sounds like luxurious, doesn't it? What else is luxurious? You're getting the upgraded style leather interior with speakers in the actual headrest. You'll notice all the great stitching, the piping, very comfortable bolstering. You have seats that can move 20 different ways from Sunday, actually about 17, and both of them, 17-way adjustable, and both of them have massage seats. So you could get a massage going down the road. Love the Alcantara style material. And remember, this isn't made by your neighbor down the street, Mr. Alcantara. The reason why they call it Alcantara is because the company that originated this material, which is basically a microfiber suede material, was called Alcantara. It's like the Q-tip. Q-tip is not what it really is. It's a cotton swab. Did I just blow your mind? You've been living a lie your whole freaking life, haven't you? We do have, of course, GM was the one that came up with that digital rearview mirror, clear as day. And then on top of that, you do have your power shade for that massive panoramic roof, and it is an opening sunroof as well. So it's not just sealed glass. You can open it up to let the wind just come through the whole interior and get rid of that caviar fishy smell. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a steering wheel with some Super Cruise I want to show you. Come on over. All right, guys, business time. Obviously, just like I said, for the passenger, you got the heated seats, ventilated seats, massage seats, 2 memory seat settings. I like the Cadillac sill plate, simple, but yet gets the point across, and it lights up at night, all LED. There's your seat controls. You push that little button right there to start the massage. Ooh, I feel it. I'm 6 feet tall. If you really need more room, I don't know what to tell you. Get yourself a bus or something, because there's plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, the leather, and if you see this on top of any GM steering wheel, that means that we have Super Cruise. I gotta get rid of this wood. It's really hurting me. I feel offended by this brown wood. So that's my big zonk, but everything else, the stitching, the beautiful Cadillac badge, love the flat black, the real metal switch gear. You do have paddles, but they are plastic to go through the 10-speed automatic. And you do have an electric powered tilting and telescoping steering wheel. I like the way they have your 4x4 controls right here, 2 high, 4 high, hill descent control. You can lower it because we have the air ride suspension, and then that beautiful digital gauge display. Clear as day. Love the way the speedometer is real nice and large. You got your 80s on 8. You can see what's playing, and you have a head-up display. Dire Straits, man. One of my favorite groups, and definitely you know what song is going to be one of my favorite songs. I Want My MTV. That's what I want right about now. But why don't we go ahead? I don't watch MTV anymore. They don't play any music. They just play reality shows and BS. But I'm going to let that go because we have some work to finish up here. Let's go ahead. Let's get to the mid-row and the third row and see how your passenger is going to be living high on the hog in this Escalade. All right, guys, mid-row time. And you know what? We looked at the front end of the business with where the driver and the passenger is going to sit, and there's a lot of amazing things happening there. Just as much amazing things happening in the mid-row and the third row, and this is really where the Escalade blows the X7, the BMW X7, right out of the water. Right out of the water. Of course, like I told you, we have rear seat entertainment, wireless streaming. You do get headsets, which I'll show you that in a second, but it's all touchscreen. You can watch YouTube, whatever you want, Hulu, whatever shows. Maybe you're watching Hell's Kitchen. Love that show right here. And what's great is that you can actually tilt it. And I feel like this is gonna last. You know how sometimes you feel like you move a screen or a switch or something, you're like, man, that's gonna get limp and break. This feels really rock solid, so I like that. You could keep some DVDs in here. It's not gonna do you any good because there's no DVD player, but you can keep some DVDs in here, probably about 4 or 5 DVD cases, maybe just to have them as a memory. I mean, that's one of the things that I miss is actually going to Blockbuster Video and picking up first it was VHS and then DVD cases and flipping it over and reading the back and looking at the pictures. Now everything is online. Great. Back at the command center, they give you a nice hookup here. You do have your heated seats, 3 stages, but I am gonna zonk no ventilated seats. This is a over $100,000 vehicle. I want my ventilated seats right now. You do have those nice metal switches for your AC climate control. You do have HDMIs, USB-Cs, and then voila, 2 cup holders. Close that up. I promised you headphones, and I am gonna deliver. Ooh, look at this. AKG on the case with the Cadillac badge. I bet you this thing, you could probably sell it on eBay for about 200 bucks, just the case. I'm gonna open it up. Ooh, now we're talking. Look at that, bling bling. Cadillac badges on the headset. I gotta be careful not to break this. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. Now I'm working. Now it's working. All right, just had to figure that out. Yeah. So obviously you won't have to listen to what they're watching. Hopefully you're paying attention to what they're watching so they're not watching stuff that's inappropriate. Even though they probably are still gonna watch it anyways, but I remember. It just came like a flashback, wanting to see Rambo. And my parents were against it. I was 10 years old. They were against it. It came out in the movie theater. They were against it. I was very upset for a very long time. But now I get it. But now today, kids can watch whatever they want. It's great. Progress. Look at the progress that we have on this seat. The leather, the same great material as up front, and they give you a beefy armrest for your arm. That kind of makes sense. We do have seats that slide and they recline quite a bit. And then what's wonderful is that with the amount of room in here, I don't even have to actually get out to get into the 3rd row. I could just do one of these. Kids, don't do this while the car is in motion. And then what we're gonna do now is, ooh, look at that. Come on in, Steven. Look at all this room you have. And this is why I say, if you need more room, you gotta go full size. This is way more room than an X7 will ever be. Even if you remove the seats, you still won't have this much room in a BMW X7. I have my AC vents, the Alcantara material everywhere, the LED lighting, USB-Cs, nice soft place to put your arm, and you have the same great seat material. So they didn't go cheap on the 3rd row. But why don't we go ahead, let's go in the cargo area because I want to take you for a spin in this Cadillac Escalade. All right, guys, cargo area time. Like I showed you earlier, you're gonna hit right here, but I do also want to show you as well that you can just lift the glass. So if you want that easy access, Steven is all about easy access. You can reach in there and get whatever you need and then go about your business, because I hope you're doing some business because, of course, the MSRP for this, but you do that 5-finger slap, whoop, nice electric assist. I'm gonna move out of the way and let Steven show you how much room we have with the 3rd row. What are we working with? We have, believe it or not, 25.5 cubic feet of space. You fold down the 3rd row, that gives you 72.9 cubic feet of space. You fold down the mid row, you have almost 110 cubic feet of space. Now let's talk about what's going on here. I like the way they put these nice little aluminum guards here with the Escalade name stamped in, because you know your kids are gonna drag their junk and scratch the heck out of this. So it's nice to have a little bit of aluminum to kind of protect the plastic from just going to hell. Part of that 36 speaker system, we have our AKG subwoofers on both sides. And then underneath, you do have, of course, your required snake storage area. So you could actually put about, I would say 15 snakes underneath here. Just don't go with the poisonous ones. I know you want to show off your rattlesnake and all that, maybe your water moccasin. Just keep the garden variety in here and you'll live a lot longer, I promise. Now, to help you live longer from not stressing your body parts and your muscles out, we do have buttons and switches to lower the seats. And of course, we also have a home power source. But all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hit that. You gotta hold it down. That's a zonk. I don't wanna stand here and hold this button. And it hit the seat. I told Steven to move it, but you know what? I'll do it anyways. I'm not beyond moving my own seat. I know some people think I can't move my own seat. I can. There we go. So we actually didn't break it by ramming it into the seat. Of course, once again, we have the consistency here on Rady's Rides that if we're gonna hit a seat, we're gonna hit both seats. Not just one, but two seats. Move that out of the way. Let's see how that works now, Steven. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Look at how nice and flat that is. Like I said, that's 72 cubic feet of space. You could go to Costco and buy half the store and put it back here. You'll notice in the third row, like I was talking about, you do have USB-Cs. I like the way they give a little bit of a soft little elbow pad here. And you'll notice the Alcantara goes all the way back. Even the people in the third row get some Alcantara in their life. Mid row folds down. I could do it with the buttons, but I'm gonna hit this button, close it up, and it's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do some super cruising on throttle and go for a spin in this Escalade. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Cadillac Escalade Sport with that extra luxury premier package trim that gets you the nicer leather, the AKG 36 speaker sound system, and all the other fixings. Right away, when you get behind the wheel of one of these, you just get it. The sound deadening is amazing. The great ride quality just really makes you rethink what a lot of these other brands are doing when it comes to how their vehicles drive. It's with the MagneRide and the air suspension, it just feels so comfortable, but it doesn't feel like you're driving a marshmallow. I feel like I'm connected to the asphalt and I feel confident. Of course, like I said, you have that Super Cruise feature, which, remember, they are adding more and more roads. When it first started, a lot of the roads around where I live were not added, but you'll see when we get down the road some how I'll turn it on for us and showcase the features of Super Cruise. But getting to the infotainment well within reach, I could use a direct drive control knob if I want, or the other buttons. We could bring up vehicle information very easily, and then you go right back. So the way they have this vehicle laid out is so well organized, and I'm glad that everything is not in the screen. I definitely like the infotainment system and the digital gauge cluster a lot more than the BMW X7. Visibility is great. Out back, you got the digital rearview mirror. We have all of GM's safety features to keep you safe. So it makes it real simple. So now I'm turning on Super Cruise. It is green, which means we are good to go. So right now I have hands-free driving, and as long as you're looking forward, you're good to go. You sit here, you relax, and you're able to go down the road having that semi-autonomous driving experience. And of course, what I could do is I can add more speed, and what it's gonna do is, watch, it's gonna change lanes by itself. So I have no feet touching the pedal whatsoever. We're passing the slower vehicle, and it's controlling everything that needs to be handled. It's turning on the turn signal, it's doing all of that for me with that semi-autonomous driving. Super Cruise is probably one of my favorite semi-autonomous, actually, it is my favorite semi-autonomous driving setup. It's so easy to use, it makes sense. And once you get used to not being in control, per se, it makes it extra comfortable just to cruise down the highway in your Escalade with that feature. But these are the things that General Motors, specifically Cadillac, has been working on to really highlight that driving experience and make it unique to their brand. That's one of the great things about all of this. But of course, you're gonna have that 3-row superiority. Now it's telling me I need to take control again, which is fine. And it does it very simplistically. It's one of those systems where it's very easy to figure out how to use, and I think that's the best part. But I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off and keep it off so that I can go ahead and do my own driving. You do have the paddles behind the 10-speed, behind the steering wheel for the 10-speed automatic. I got the massage seats going right now. It's just my big hang up on the interior. All the boxes are checked for me except for this brown wood. That's a big no-no. Please give me something else. Anything else except for brown veneer finish wood. But I'm telling you right now, the ride quality is gonna blow your mind. You got the AKG sound system that gives you such a nice, clear sound. Remember, it's not just about loud when it comes to sound systems, it's about clarity. And AKG is definitely known for their very clear audio with their sound system. But these seats are so comfy, even without the massage setting on, still very comfortable. The upgraded leather is fantastic. I got the head-up display leading the way for me. And just the way they do the screens, it's classy, it makes sense, and it's not too over the top. But what I want to do is I want to definitely show you an on throttle with this vehicle. Remember, 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, quite respectable for a vehicle this size. And if you want faster, you know what to do. Escalade V is your SUV of choice. You ready for this? On throttle, here we go. Nice. You got that V8 rumble, naturally aspirated power. You're not waiting for turbos to spool up. You're not waiting for any of that. You just get on the loud pedal. That torque comes in nice and low. Remember, 460 pound-feet of torque, and pulls throughout the whole rev range. But getting back onto the highway is really where this vehicle excels because of how smooth it drives. And when you go sport, they do tune the suspension to be a little bit sportier, but the great news is it's not gonna beat you up. And I think you're gonna be very, very happy about that. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of the 2024 Escalade. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day. It's never gonna be a bad day when you're behind the wheel of a Cadillac Escalade, but I definitely gotta thank everybody at Cadillac for allowing us access to this Presley vehicle. Let me know what you think. Are you going with one of the OGs in that full-size luxury segment, the Cadillac Escalade, or you like to have some German Euro luxury and you're gonna go BMW X7? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Of course, we need to give it up, Stephen Flood Photography. He has actually been training for his next weightlifting competition. So definitely wish him well, and hopefully he won't overdo the steroids. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. Take care of yourself. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.